last night. A 16-year-old bossed over pre-tournament favourites France and showed just how special he is. Lamine Yamal, 16 years and 362 days. Can't drink, can't smoke, can't drive and can't vote. But what he can do is beat one of the best defensive lines in Europe to score a goal for the ages in the semi-final. Yes, now to borrow the phrase from Gen Z, that's what I'd call flexing. Take a look at how Spain dismantled France. In the build-up to the first semi-final, the match was being seen as a contest between Kylian Mbappe's boring France versus the best team of the tournament, Spain, who had rolled over all their opponents in Euro 2024. France had been criticised for their defensive style, where they were unable to score a single goal in open play period throughout the tournament. Add to that, their skipper Kylian Mbappe was woefully out of form, and wearing a mask due to an injured nose had made things difficult for him and France. So Le Bleu knew they had their work cut out going into this game. In complete contrast, Spain had been the most exciting team with two young stars in Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams showing the world that age does not matter when you've been blessed with oodles of talent. Playing for a berth in the final, Spain came from behind to drub France 2-1 despite conceding a goal as early as the 8th minute. In the next 17 minutes, France assured themselves of the match-winning 2-1 lead and the place in the final. In the next 17 minutes, Spain assured themselves of the match-winning 2-1 lead and a place in the final. Le Bleu did give their fans something to cheer about when just 6 minutes into the match, they took an early lead as Randal Kolo Muani headed in a cross from a maskless Kylian Mbappe. Yes, there was a surprise in Munich when Mbappe went onto the field without the mask he'd been wearing since sustaining a broken nose in France's opening group match. Mbappe had been complaining about the mask and decided to get rid of it. And it seemed to have worked as he created the game's opening goal in the 8th minute with a cross to the back post that was headed in by Muani. That was the first field goal for France at Euro 2024. But what happened just 13 minutes later will go down in history as the most pivotal moment of Euro 2024. A 16-year-old juggling homework and exams while playing for his country in the Euros scored the equalizer for Spain. Lamine Yamal etched his name in the history books as he became the youngest player to score in a World Cup or Euros. He curled a brilliant strike from outside the box that sailed into the top corner to leave the world in awe. Spain turned the match around completely in the next 4 minutes. Dani Olmo's goal-bound shot was turned into the net of France defender Jules Koundé. It was originally adjudged by UEFA to have been an own goal, but was later awarded to Olmo. A desperate France had their chances in the second half, but couldn't capitalize as Theo Hernandez and Mbappe both blasted shots over the bar from inside the box. Spain will play their 5th Euro final, and with the momentum they have, whoever meets them in the final between England and Netherlands, it will be a huge challenge to stop this Spanish armada. What a night for Spain. Let's listen to the reactions from both camps.
Well, we saw a touch of genius from a footballer. We all know who he is. We need to take care of him. And I, from here, I want to give him some advice, the same way that I do in private. I would like him to work with the same humility, keep his feet on the ground, in order to keep improving, learning with the same kind of attitude and that professionality, that maturity that he shows on the pitch. He looks like a much more experienced player, to be honest. But fundamentally, I celebrate that he's in our team, that he's Spanish, and that we count on him, and how we can enjoy him for years to come. Well, I'm not here to come and take criticisms or debate. You may talk about anything you wish, no problem. I am not going to talk about this. This is factual. I never denied that we didn't have the best offensive efficiency. From there on, we also had to adapt, be efficient and go on. We made it to the semi-finals, and then everybody will have their own analysis. We didn't have 100% of our potential to do what we wanted to do, and that's for different reasons.
Yeah, of course, you're always disappointed when you don't win. I think it's normal, it's human. Like I said in French before, we wanted to win, and now we go home after the semi-final, so it's a disappointment for sure.
Very, very happy, of course, of what we've done. We know that we have to do the last step. We're confident. The whole tournament, I said it in the first game, we're confident that we're in a good way. We're doing good things in a good way, as I said, working well, and yeah, now we have the last game. We have to focus on ourselves, be ourselves, and be in the same way.
Euro 2024 has thrown among us a potential once-in-a-generation footballing superstar in Lamine Yamal. The 16-year-old has been compared to Messi, and rightly so, because Yamal is following in Messi's footsteps. Yamal not only created history, becoming the youngest player to score in a European Championship, he did it in style, creating space for himself and firing a curling strike from outside the box that landed in the top corner away from the grasp of a diving Mike Maignan. A goal that will be replayed again and again on social media for how brilliant it was. That coming from a 16-year-old in a Euro semi-final, it shows that Yamal has the talent to get to the same level as Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Not just that, Yamal's also at the top when it comes to assists in this tournament. He has 3 assists in Euro, and no player has created more chances or big chances. He also sits in the top 10 for shots and dribbles. So not only is he playing, he's starring in all the games. What he is doing is unprecedented. Let me tell you this. While the comparisons can be seen as a little premature, what Yamal is doing at this age is unprecedented. At the same age at which Yamal is at the moment, he's got 51 senior appearances for Barcelona, and he's won 13 caps for Spain, 6 of them at a major tournament. Lionel Messi was yet to even make his competitive senior debut. Now, we have to wait and watch as to what Yamal's trajectory will be and whether he can match up to the genius of Messi. But what we can be sure of is that there is no doubting his talent and the scale of his potential. Listen in to Yamal himself on his performance, as well as what his coach thinks of it.
I was really happy after the final whistle. And well, it's a dream come true, reaching a final with the senior national team. I don't know if it's the best goal of the tournament, but it's the most special for me, because getting to a final with the national team in the Euros, it's something super special for me. I always spoke and I always said to my mom. Even my mom said it was her dream too, so I'm really happy. That was my goal against France. My first goal against France in a semi-final, and I'm really, really happy about that.
So honestly, if you make it to the finale, you want to win it. And today's match, I mean, it was amazing. We were down by 1-0 after 10 minutes, and then we defeated France, such a strong team. And so we're super happy, and yeah, let's win it in Berlin.
They can reach the final, they can reach the champion, everything. Vamos! They had a fantastic comeback. Lamine Yamal, he did everything that match. It was great. It was perfect.
It was like horrible. It was hard because there was so much Spanish cheering, and the French were less loud, so we felt a little bit alone. But this was our first goal in the Euro, so that's great. But we were happy at first, and then
it was like at the beginning we were very scared, but then in very short time they scored like 2 goals, and we were super excited and hopeful. Yeah, so yeah, let's see what happens in the final.
Yeah, I think we play good, but in the end, the schiedsrichter, l'arbitre, au shot l'arbitre, voilà, il aurait dû laisser 3 minutes. Voilà, nous on se retrouve comme ça. On a assuré. Bon, après on fait un tournoi de merde, faut pas se voiler la face. fait un tournoi de nul. Et là, on joue une fois bien et on cadre pas. Voilà, c'est comme ça. Ciao.
Right, let's set up the second semi-final for you. England and the Netherlands have met each other 23 times, but this is the biggest stage of them all. They've never met in a semi-final of a European Championship. Gareth Southgate and his English team have been booed. There have been beer bottles that have been hurled at them for their boring style of play, given the talent they have in the squad. England produced just 5 shots on target in 240 minutes of action against Switzerland and Slovakia in the prior 2 rounds, needing penalties and extra time respectively. Now, while Southgate has not managed to get the best out of his players, England's major problem has been their all-time top scorer, Harry Kane, who's been far from his best in the tournament. He's lacked pace and presence as he seems to be struggling with an injury he picked up playing for Bayern Munich in March. England now face a Dutch team whose 5 games have produced nearly double the number of goals as England's, despite playing 16 minutes less. In Cody Gakpo and Wout Weghorst, Ronald Koeman's side have the variety to create havoc, leading to hoping of a more entertaining high-caliber clash. Gakpo is the joint top scorer in the Euros with 3 goals and has been the Netherlands' key attacking threat. England will know that most of those dangerous moves by the Dutch, they rely on his involvement. And Kyle Walker, he will have his job cut out. A Manchester City man can match Gakpo for pace, and Southgate will get possibly Bukayo Saka to be more diligent in his tracking back to help minimize the threat from the left flank. Let's listen in to Harry Kane and Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, this is now the chance to make history, which we've enjoyed doing that. Chance to get to the first final, not held in England. First time England will have ever done that. So we're trying to break new ground. That's difficult and it's complicated, but the players have responded brilliantly, and the resilience that's been built. You know, you can bond. We've been very fortunate. We've had Ed Sheeran in to sing, and it was great. The players had a couple of beers before the last game. You can bond in that way, but when you're having to head the ball out your box in the 92nd minute and you're having to find a goal in the 96th minute, there's nothing stronger than that for building the spirit of a team. We're prepared for anything. I think it will be an exciting game. You've got a lot of very good players on the pitch, a lot of good forward players, both teams. So we've got to be another step from what we showed in the last game. It's another step up in terms of the quality of some of the opponents, and we have to be ready for that.
To the Dutch team, so yeah, from our point of view, we'll always analyse, the other team and where they can hurt us and where we need to be careful. And they're 2 really good strikers. They're playing at a high level, and of course, being in the semi-final of European Championships means they're doing something well. So we hopefully will keep them quiet tomorrow, but it'll be a difficult task for sure. But yeah, we're focused on what we can do to hurt them as well, and that's what we've been preparing for. Times where just the rhythm of the game, maybe Jude or Phil might end up being in the middle. I might drift out to maybe the left 10, or there's different examples where of course as the striker you want to try and give as much space as possible to your midfielders, to the number 10s, and but then there's times where you want to drag defenders out into spaces they might not want to come either. So like I've said with my game, always I try and see how the game evolves, what the team needs from me, and I try and exploit those situations. But there'll be times tomorrow, of course, where I'll need to be more of a focal point and be in the box more and make sharper movements in the box. And there'll be times where I'll drop deep and try and make it uncomfortable for the defenders coming into maybe areas they don't want to be in.
Okay, let's shift focus from the Euros to the Copa America. Defending champions Argentina booked their place in the Copa America final after goals from Julian Alvarez and Lionel Messi gave them a 2-0 win over Canada in Tuesday's semi-final in New Jersey. After soaking up the early pressure, Argentina went ahead when Rodrigo de Paul played through Alvarez, who ghosted in between two defenders to score with a tidy finish in the 22nd minute. Argentina, the 2022 World Cup winners and number one in FIFA's rankings, gradually took control, and Messi had a chance to double their lead in the 44th minute when he created space in the box with some silky footwork before lashing his effort wide. Messi had struggled with a muscle injury earlier in the tournament but appeared revitalized on a hot and humid evening at the MetLife Stadium. He scored Argentina's second in the 51st minute, sticking out a boot to divert Enzo Fernandez's shot from the edge of the area past Canada goalkeeper Maxime Crepeau. The goal moved Messi to join fifth in the all-time Copa America scoring charts, level with Peru's Paulo Guerrero and Chile's Eduardo Vargas on 14. Argentina will take on either Uruguay or Colombia, who meet on Wednesday in the final in Miami Gardens, Florida on Sunday.
That would be like a very easy game because we went against Canada and it was easy. I think it was 2-0. Then I think we're gonna beat them today.
As much as we were hoping for a different outcome, we're so proud of our men's team, and this is only really the beginning of a very successful and promising future for the Canadian men's team.
I'm feeling sad, but I'm feeling mostly proud. Mostly proud that we made it this far. Yeah.
Former India opener Gautam Gambhir was appointed head coach of the Indian cricket team, succeeding former teammate Rahul Dravid in what is considered one of the most challenging jobs in the game. Dravid, who ended his tenure guiding India to the T20 World Cup last month, opted not to apply for the job again, paving the way for Gambhir's elevation to the role. Gambhir was part of the India sides that won the T20 World Cup in 2007 and the 50 overs global title 4 years later. He captained Kolkata Knight Riders to 2 Indian Premier League titles and won a third IPL crown with them as mentor earlier this year. A pugnacious left-handed batter who represented India in 242 matches across formats, Gambhir will begin his tenure with India's white ball tour of Sri Lanka beginning later this month. Okay, this is a bit of disturbing news, which is coming from Argentina, but it's about the French rugby team. France's rugby players, Oscar Jegu and Hugo Orado, they've been arrested in Argentina following an allegation of sexual assault during their tour of South America. France beat Argentina 28-13 last weekend in Mendoza and are scheduled to play Uruguay in Montevideo on Wednesday before returning to Buenos Aires to face Argentina on Saturday. Open side flanker Jegu and lock Arado started Saturday's match against the Pumas, both making their senior international debuts. Asked about the identities of the players involved, the French Rugby Federation President Florian Grill, told in a press conference that the two players were Jegu and Orado, so he confirmed that. Then the lawyer of the French rugby players arrested, he rejected the allegations, saying that they'd engaged in consensual sex. He also said both players were willing to cooperate with the Argentine authorities and that they were expecting to be taken to Mendoza on Wednesday to be questioned by prosecutors. He also added this, and the head coach then, he spoke about the two players as well as the victims. The head coach of France National Rugby Union team, Fabien Garthy, he said that his thoughts are with the victim of an allegation of sexual assault, accusing two of those players while they were on tour.
With that, we've come to the end of this special. A game on is about to get over, but let's also listen in to the coach.
The first thing is to address the victim and think of her. Our thoughts are with the victim. That's the first thing I'd like to share with you. Secondly, yes, we have spoken with the players, of course. Everything is being done on our side to support the work of Argentinian justice system. For the group, for the delegation, it was a traumatic experience, a stupefaction when we heard the news and when the police arrived at the hotel in Buenos Aires. So it was really a very difficult day, very hard. For the group, I'd call it dumbfoundment. It's a very difficult period for us to go through. It's in these conditions that we are preparing for this match, which means very difficult conditions.
Well, that's it then on Game On. Do follow us on Twitter as well as on YouTube if you want the latest from the world of sports. That's it from us. Goodbye.
Who am I?
Nobody can crack that mystery.
There is a certain expectation of me.
That's the only contradiction.
Life itself is stranger than fiction.
I was a perfectly normal person born in an abnormal world.
I really didn't understand why is it different.
Just imagine a child who is bullied every day.
Boys school में कुछ लड़का लोग मेरे साथ sexual abuse किए.
मुझे तेरे बारे में सब पता है. अब तेरा रेप कर लूँगा.
You also start to stigmatize.
अरे ये तो time pass है.
Sex doesn't come in the picture. Sex comes very late. Then there are man-made narratives.
Why do you walk like that? Why do you sway so much? So you can understand the trauma of a person who's trapped in a wrong body.
But nothing can bind life.